Starting now to the bottom right of the map here on Akilon, we have in our best of 3 the Terran player for Team FX Open.
FXO GuMiho.
Nine-tailed Fox, the Towel Terran. Very focused here.
And he's up against the Zerg player to the top left, starting in blue with a crazy good record against Terran in Heart of the Swarm. We have
SK Telecom T1 Su.
Su. Never to be underestimated. Very fast hands. And this is such a great map for this match. We talk about it all the time, but I like it because there's so much opportunities for the Zerg player to be aggressive, to attack early. And the late game is incredible as well, because once you get to that 4th and 5th base, if it comes to that, there's so many different ways a Terran can be aggressive, but also Zerg players have a lot of different ways to attack with, for example, Milas in the late game, because there's so much dead space behind the bases. Really, really a fun map to watch.
Yeah, the thing, if we actually look at the statistics right now in this particular matchup, we hinted at a few of the things already a bit earlier when we talked about it, but there are a couple of things that are really noteworthy when you talk about the statistics that we had so far in Heart of the Swarm for both of these players. For Su, the issue really is that he only played 9 maps so far, but he was able to win so many of those. Actually, I think he only played 8, let me just confirm that. Yeah, he played 8 maps and won 7 of them, so he has an 88% win ratio. He took down Heart, Illusion, Druby, and Maru. The only map that he lost was a best of 1 against Flash. And then you look at the record for GuMiho, and GuMiho has played 42 maps offline against Zerg, in Heart of the Swarm, and he won 50%. But then you actually look down that map history, and you try to just put a few names to those wins and losses, and you realize very fast that GuMiho is actually 14-1 against foreign Zerg players, against foreigners, non-Koreans. But if you look at the Korean players that he faced, the Korean Zergs, then suddenly that picture changes immediately. He is 7-20 against Korean Zerg players. That leaves him with a 26% win ratio.
Yeah.
So that is a big, big problem here for him.
Yeah, it's a pretty terrible win ratio against Korean Zerg. So, you know, when it comes to the high skill Zergs that he's facing, like the highest skill, the Koreans, he does have some trouble. I want to talk about these openings. We had really weird openings from both players, being that we had a Reaper opening from GuMiho, who's even making a second Reaper, which we don't see all too often since just after the beta. And Su went pool first. He went pool first into the hatchery. This is going to give him a little bit of pressure here with these Zerglings, and he's actually going to be able to deny this Command Center. The Reaper will chase these away, but he's delaying the Command Center so much. Meanwhile, the Reaper is chased away in the main base by a Queen. But just really strange openings. A quick scout build for GuMiho, and at the same time Su with an extremely safe build, and this also allows him to pressure the Command Center.
Yeah, what Su basically did here is not only very safe, but you can really see that with the Zerglings that we saw on the map, that he was expecting an early Command Center for GuMiho and trying to just delay this a little bit and also put pressure onto the Terran. Problematic for him is the Reaper opening, because those can put an end to the Zergling aggression very early on. But just picture this with an opening with the Marines, for example. Suddenly you have a very different picture, because those Lings will be able to pressure this a lot more. As it is, Su gets his expansion up a little bit later, but has also the faster speed coming in. And this is something that is really going to help him. He's still on 2 bases, lost a little bit of that like momentum in economy, and now he's actually up against a soft contain from his opponent, which is something that we don't see all too often on this map.
Yeah, it's really strange to see this, but the Overlord spots it, and this just means that all the Lings that he's making right now are going to be less useful than he wants them to be. He has to run past a bunker, and by the time that he gets past the bunker, if he wants to pressure, he's going to be up against Hellions, which are now moving across the map. So if the Reapers do a little bit more damage to these Queens, the Hellions might actually be able to take them out, and that's not what Su wants to have happen.
And also what this bunker does is delay that 3rd base for quite some time, which is not necessarily the worst thing to happen here for Su. Of course, you want to get that 3rd hatch as early as humanly possible, as long as it's safe. But we saw a lot of Zerg players just starting to get their tech up faster and delaying this hatch, going into a 3rd roughly at 7:30. And that's something where you can still make happen. You're completely fine if you get your tech advantage and you saturate your base as well, so that you can go for the economy slide. Nice repair here on the Hellion. I really like the small things that GuMiho is currently doing.
Yeah, he's doing so many little small things, like repairing the Hellions, having that one SCV constantly in the bunker. He's also making a Banshee back at home right now. He really is doing his best to damage the Queens while he does this. 2 more Queens on the way. Oh, he needs to be careful of those Hellions, and he is, but the preparation for the Banshee is, of course, underway here.
We just saw 6 Overlords being built for Su, which is very interesting. That usually indicates that the Zerg player wants to go for a massive amount of aggression. I'm not quite sure if this is exactly what we're going to see right now. Time will tell. Su might have just overstepped it a little bit and built a few too many, but now he's on a massive amount of supply, or max supply. He is at 50 or at 60 of 100 max supply, and he could just build either a ton of Zerglings, it's very low in the drone count, or decide to go into I don't know, I actually think, looking at it now with the double evolution chamber, I think it was a slight mistake that he made there.
Yeah, he's making a ton of lings and he's hiding them, but he doesn't need that many overlords to make this many lings. And I think once he breaks out of this bunker, he's going to try to go for a big attack and make GuMiho lit. And here comes the lings. He shows them there's a lot of Hellions, though, and I don't think this is going to work.
Yeah, with the Hellion control, with good Hellion control, he's going to kill those Zerglings. Most of those lings are already dead. A couple of the Hellions, of course, dying too. But this is really, really good for GuMiho. Finally, we have the bunker going down, but at this point in time, so many Zerglings were sacrificed, and this is a big issue for the Zerg. He still doesn't have a third base, and he is already at 8 minutes and 50 seconds. So at the 9-minute mark, we just see the lair tech, and that is something that just doesn't work well for GuMiho at all.
Yeah,
sorry, for Su.
Right.
GuMiho is like dominating.
He's so happy with what's going on, GuMiho that is, and he's got the pressure with these Hellions right now. He has the Banshee here as well. He damaged the Queen so significantly. The upgrades that are now coming out of the evolution chambers are very late. Yeah, he will have a lead over the E-base, but that's because GuMiho has put so much money into this pressure, and it certainly has worked. There's no third base for Su. The lair is late. He has very low, he's low on drones. It's 38 SCVs to 31 drones because he's made so many lings. He spent all of his larva on that. GuMiho taking a massive lead in this game.
We talked a little bit how GuMiho struggles against Korean Zerg players, but nothing of that is visible here in this game in particular. Here comes an attempt with those Zerglings to put some pressure onto the Terran, but GuMiho is ready with all those additional Hellions. And there's not even a third base at this point. We're 10 minutes into the game, and he's not getting a third. He's now just getting it at 10 minutes. We already have the third command center, the orbital, done for GuMiho, and he is ahead in the harvest account. He's getting those upgrades. He's starting to build this wall at the front. GuMiho is in a great position here.
Yeah, the Baneling Nest is going down right now because Su realizes that he's going to be up against some pressure here very soon with the Bio Army. But I'm worried for him because once Stim is done and he moves across the map, even with Banelings, he doesn't have, I don't think he's going to have enough. If he commits all of his resources to a defense, it's going to hurt his economy so much, and GuMiho can just go back, he can just walk back, and it doesn't matter too much for him. He's getting his first medevacs out now as well.
Scouting is going to be everything for GuMiho now, because if Su really commits to the Zergling aggression on 1-1 with the Banelings, then GuMiho needs to identify this early on and try to make those Hellions be worth their weight in gold. He needs to get those shots off against Zerglings and Banelings. Has also a few Widow Mines that he can always use. But now with the Medivacs in the picture, he could actually just start to drop a few of the Hellions into the main base while rallying the rest of those guys into the third unnatural.
Yeah, we could certainly see that. I completely agree with you here. And at this moment in time, Su has to be very careful about the possibility of the Marines just getting picked up and flown back home. He needs 2 Medivacs really to be able to make that work, but he's under so much pressure here. The rocks, he can't even destroy the rocks to take that fourth. The third base for Su is ready, it's finished, but getting the drones over there is a completely different story.
And the Overlord is a nice touch blocking that third base, but you can really see that GuMiho is also making a few mistakes now. And one of those mistakes is getting the armory this late, so it's not going to line up with a +2 as he would like.
Oh, and this is a big mistake as well.
Suddenly he lost the map control that he had earlier. He still has Marines and a few Widow Mines on the map, but now he has to be careful, because this is the point in time where Su has his third base up, where Su has a lot of different options, and he seems to go for a massive amount of lings and could actually just start to attack with Banelings once that he has the speed upgrade that is now finishing. We don't see a Spire just yet. He's taking the extra gas, but a Spire is nowhere to be seen at this point.
Yeah, we haven't seen the Spire just yet at all, and he's going to go over here and test the water, see if this command center is still here, because it looks very likely that he wants to attack with his Banelings now at the third, but he doesn't have Baneling speed. I don't see this one working.
No, he does.
Oh, it finished? Okay.
Completed.
I was worried about that.
Yeah, no, I mean, I completely agree with you. At this point, you either have to go into the Spire or you have to start attacking, but he might just wait for the +2/+2 to finish. And we have +2/+2 also started for GuMiho, and GuMiho is the one who is now moving out with his army, dropping into his opponent's main base. Immediately they pull on the drones, a Widow Mine trying to delay a potential fourth base. And so far, GuMiho is doing a great job here. His 20 supply up, he's hitting his upgrades. Not as great as Su, but still in a really good position. He needs to just make sure that his defense is solid against the potential all-in.
Yeah.
And that's what we see right now.
He's really preparing very well at home, getting more Widow Mines out, adding a second factory now, and He needs to, I don't know, maybe he needs some bunkers though. He starts one bunker, as I say, a second bunker, because without the bunkers, I'm not sure he can hold this. There's just so many Zerg units here.
No, you're completely right. He needs a little bit more than only that. But I don't think that he has identified what exactly is going on. He saw that there is no Spire, so he saw something's missing. And then he should have an inkling of what's going on. And here comes Su moving in with the Zerglings and the Banelings. There's splits for GuMiho trying to save those Marines. There is so much Zerg, and those supply depots, they are not lifted just yet. The Marines preventing that, and suddenly you have links everywhere. Great hits by the Widow Mines.
Yeah, the Widow Mines here doing a good job, but he has way too many Banelings at the same time. The bunker's still alive, and he's pulls SCVs. He picks some of them up, and the medevac's beautifully done here.
Really well done by GuMiho. Saves a lot of these units, and keep in mind that this is basically an all-in from Su. If he doesn't do enough damage, then his tech is so far behind that GuMiho will be able to win this match. The repair is good on the last bunker that is still alive. And of course, the Terran player rallying more units out as we speak.
2-2 is done for Su. He's really utilizing that right now. A counter drop for GuMiho. I really like this. Right now, the drone count is down to 50. 51 SVs against 50 drones. Needs good Marine splits here. No splits at all. He's microing the drop. He chases the drones away at the third.
Yeah, there are only 2 Banelings left on the other hand, and the Marines already just working at that ramp, trying to force those Zerglings back with the repair. He could do so much here. GuMiho can definitely hold here. He's once again up with 20 supply, and his 2-2 is going to finish in a second, and that will give him a huge momentum.
Yeah, the third base for GuMiho is completely untouched. There is a bunker there, so Su can't even just send a group of Lings over to harass it. The bunker will defend. He's killing all of these drones over here. The Marine's still alive right now, and Su, all he's doing is making more and more Zerglings, but I feel like he's missed his timing window. He needs to try transition, and he does. 10 drones.
Yeah, he lost a lot of steam here. At this point in particular, we can already see that Su is in trouble. He went for the only strategy that made sense at this point. He went for a massive attack with 2-2 and 2-2 Zerglings and speed Banelings. But you can really see that with the hold that we saw from GuMiho now, he's suddenly up at 9 medivacs. He has a stim combat shield and plus 2-2 on the board. A really good position here for the Terran player. Su actually doesn't have the second armor upgrade. I thought he researched that as well, but apparently it was only the attack upgrade, so he's even behind in upgrades.
Yeah, I didn't even realize that either. I could have sworn he had both, but 18 Banelings on the way. This is his next and last version of the all-in. There's no way he's going to be able to transition unless he basically critically wounds GuMiho here. I don't see that happening. GuMiho, though, a little bit low on the Marine count. Yeah, he has 48 of them, but there's so many Banelings. There's 21 Banelings here.
He needs more Widow Mines, and he's getting them as we speak. Burrowing them right away. Nice position here for GuMiho. He needs those Widow Mine hits.
That target, and the targeting here is not good on the Widow Mines, and the Banelings are actually rolling through. GuMiho is in a little bit of trouble here.
Hey, GuMiho has to be really careful here. He still has 30 Marines, but where are they? They are trying to just dominate the top of the ramp, and once again forcing the Zerg back now with the help of the Widow Mines at the second choke point. More and more Zerglings are being built, but as we said earlier, GuMiho now with the upgrade lead, and he's making that work for him.
Yeah, he really is. He's chasing the Zerg army back. It looks like GuMiho just hit most of his units in his main base, hoping the Banelings would blow up on Widow Mines and some of his depots. A fourth base is going up for Su at a very unusual location, something that GuMiho may not scout, but he just has all the momentum right now. He starts +3. He's up 40 supply right now.
Yeah, 40 supply already, and with the +3, there's already a clock on Su. He needs to make this happen right now. He's falling so far behind. He was behind from the start. GuMiho with a great opening in this game, and Su went for the only thing that he could do, and he's really doing a good job with that, but he's just not killing enough. He needs to do a bit more damage to the economy, and I don't think that he will be able to get in this position again where he could do that.
Yeah, Widow Mines here kind of being wasted. He does clean those up with the Overseer there, but GuMiho just, he has way too much right now. He's pushing the creep back.
Keep in mind that there's nothing that pressures those medivacs. There's nothing. He has no anti-air whatsoever. There's a spore crawler every now and then. But those medivacs are the most crucial part of the army that we see for GuMiho. And as long as they are alive and have a lot of energy, those Marines can always be evacuated. They can always just heal the entire Bioforce. So that is what really makes this work for GuMiho. And there's no Spire, there are no Mutalisks, no Corruptors, no nothing.
Yeah, you can't kill the medivacs, and he can barely kill the Marines because with good pickups, as you mentioned before, it's just so hard to get anything done. A good Baneling shot, or a shot on the Banelings here by the Widow Mines, and GuMiho, all he needs to do right now is kind of back up for a second, get his next wave of units ready to move across the map, and go for an attack. He starts the armor.
This is the latest Spire that I have ever seen for a Ling Muta Baneling composition. At the 20-minute mark, he's starting to build it. And you know, from Su's perspective, what he's trying to do now, he realizes Ling and Baneling are not going to cut it here anymore. But I have 4 bases, and I have also a significant amount of hatches, so lava is not going to be an issue for me. I can try to stay alive with Zerglings and Banelings for a long time now, and then I just try to transition into Mutalisks. And if I build up a bank, I might be able to surprise my opponent. The problem for him being that he needs a lot of time to pull that off.
Yeah.
And time works in GuMiho's favor because of those upgrades that
The
he will have.
upgrades, man, when he hits 3-3, he's going to move across the map and start attacking. He's already got the medevac ready to go into the main base here, and the Lings are out of position. This is going to force Su back, and when he runs back, GuMiho's going to go onto the creep and start pushing forward. It looks like he's ready to take his 5th base, or 4th base, I should say, right now as well. Even Vikings cleaning up Overlords.
Huh?
GuMiho just, he has all the cards right now.
Yeah, he definitely does. Su has still a chance in this game, so it's not like he is completely out of it just yet. But of course, the lead definitely goes to GuMiho, and if he plays a safe game here and doesn't make any big mistakes, he should take it. But Su has a bit of an opportunity here. If he gets Mutalisks out and can hide them for a little bit longer, he might be able to just blindside GuMiho. Problematic for him is that he just doesn't have the bank in gas. He's now getting those extractors at the 4th base, but he doesn't have like 1,000 or 1,500 so that he can immediately get 15 Mutalisks onto the map, and 4 alone are not going to do too much, and not even against the medivacs.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically going to be only a drop defense that he can get out of this.
Yeah.
And it's going to be hard to make that work even.
+3 is already done
Yeah.
for GuMiho, and the 3rd armor upgrade is about to be completed too. And as you already said earlier, this is the time when we see a Terran player moving out against the Zerg.
And the concussive shells upgrade is finished as well. He's ready to transition to Marauders in case of Ultralisk, which I feel like at this point GuMiho is going, you're saving your gas for something. I don't know what it is. Are you trying to transition to Ultras? Now he sees a few Mutas, so he realizes that's what's happening, so he doesn't have to make any Marauders.
I've seen live against MMA yesterday in the RSL in the quarterfinals try to go for a really fast hive to get access to the +3/+3 a lot faster than you usually would do. But Su is playing this not only very standard, but because he fell behind so far, he's just now done with his Spire. So there is no infestation pit, there is no hive tech, there's no possible way for him to get 3-3 in this game anymore.
There's no room for kind of stretching his upgrades, stretching out into different techs. He doesn't have the gas.
Supply is very even, but keep in mind that this supply is in Lings and Banelings, and look at those targets, really well done. And suddenly the Overlord's completely exposed, no speed, and goodbye supply. He is completely supply blocked. He needs to get a ton, and oh my god.
Oh, Calor, he's losing so many here. That one Ling is so lucky that he did what he needed for his buddies, but
yeah, the Banelings are gonna be here too late. The lair is already gone. He can just speed.
He can just fly away. Exactly. He just picks everything up and flies away. Those 4 Mutas are not enough.
Those afterburners really coming into play now for GuMiho here. And just look at that supply block. He's still supply block. Did he just waste Banelings on those rocks?
Like maybe 1 or 2 of them, yeah. I think he's starting to just fall apart here. He's so behind, he's nervous, maybe a little bit, or just knows that this game is over. He's just trying to stick in it as long as possible.
You can really see how the momentum shifts here. Su, for a very long time, was completely at the bottom right with his entire army, just putting pressure on GuMiho. But now for the last few minutes, Su was just trying to defend the entire time. The game basically happens on the left side of the map at this point. And I just don't see changing with GuMiho now being on 3-3 and just continuing to what he does here.
It's impossible for Su to engage this because there's so many units on the low ground that are going to do the damage. And then if he tries to fight them on the high ground, the low ground ones do damage. If he tries to go low ground, the GuMiho just boosts in the main base. He doesn't have enough mutas, he doesn't have enough anti-air, and GuMiho is punishing him for it hard.
GuMiho should get additional bases now. Oh, there's a command center. I love it. He has the minerals. He can't invest. He's already at 200, so getting those bases now makes a lot of sense for him. Great splits, much better than the earlier ones, and he is attacking another base in the main. This is, of course, not to limit the income, but more to limit the production. Really good job here by GuMiho. Su very resilient in his attempts and still taking down medivacs, but here comes the big drop into the main base. And yeah, the tech is gonna fall here.
The tech is gonna fall. He's gonna lose his Baneling Nest.
The Baneling Nest in this point.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't even have a lair right now. He lost his lair earlier. He didn't rebuild it. He doesn't have the money to rebuild it. And he's on very few mining bases. GuMiho is trying to eliminate even one more of those on the left side of the map as we speak. The mutas here just not quite enough.
Yeah, the Mutalisk can't fight this, and he knows it.
GG.
Well played by